What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Mexico Open 2023 DFS DraftKings preview picks, cash picks, GPP plays. We're going to guess who's the chalk. We're going to talk about some guys we want to fade. Talk about what to do with John Rahm at 12K. We're going to get into it. We're going to do our 6K draft at the end, which is going to be brutal. But we're going to do it. We're going to have a good time doing it. Thanks for joining us. We're back. We're reunited. We took the week off last week at the Zurich. It was a much needed week off. One of the things that we did is we onboarded 4 new blog writers. I talked about it on the betting show, but real quick, we've got 4 to 5 new pieces of content dropping this week on tourjunkies.com/blog if you want to check it out. And they're all free. Our friend Jack Latterman wrote up it's a lighthearted every week around the clubhouse kind of piece where he curates a bunch of funny or awkward or weird or interesting content from the golf world. Nothing to do with betting or DFS, but just a fun piece to get you started on a Monday if you missed something. Then Nate Moore drops in and talks about kind of the golf tournament, the format, what you need to know, past history stuff, gives a few of his picks and plays. Our boy AK, Alan Klutz, is going to come in with the power fade. It's a bold piece. He's going to talk about 3 to 4 names every week in the 8K and above range that you should consider fading and making a case why to gain some ownership leverage. It's basically like a mini bunch of chalk bombs. It's kind of crazy. It's like little cherry bombs. I don't know. But that's happening. That's going to drop. And then our boy Vince Margiotta, the Italian mafia mob member from New York, is going to hit you with Let's Go Juicing parlay on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then the Save Your Ass Sunday parlay. I can't wait to see for that.
I'm the most excited about that. I mean, there's a lot of exciting.
I'm going to be tailing that one for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things about these writers, and they all have great stuff. I think there's, again, I'm excited about them all.
Yeah,
but the Save Your Ass parlay, there's just something about it that just really gets me tingling a little bit, DB.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a sweat going into Sunday, Vince is going to help you get that sweat.
I mean, what are we trying to do? We're trying to end the week up in the positive, right? So we need something to save our asses a lot of times, and especially in golf.
Yeah, exactly. I am looking forward to that one. That'll drop Saturday night or Sunday morning on the blog, so get on it. Other news, I will be at the Wells Fargo next week, Quail Hollow, the elevated event. I'll be there on Tuesday, part of the day, Wednesday, and Thursday. So for the most part, regularly scheduled programming with maybe a couple exceptions. Might get done, might not, but I will be bringing some great intel from on the course to the Nut Hut. So you're going to want to make sure you're in that.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you going to stay? Are you going to be in the vicinity of my brother, DirecTV?
I assume I will be in his vicinity. Yes, I'm staying at his house. So, yes.
Maybe we could actually get him to come into the chat on Wednesday night.
Yeah, maybe Wednesday night I can have him with the and then everybody will be really confused as to who's saying what.
They wouldn't know what the hell's going on. They like
that could be fun.
We could do that. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm into that. The chat Wednesday night will be lit. All your regularly scheduled programming this week, as well as all the Wednesday lunch chat with the Nut Hut, the Wednesday night chat with the Nut Hut. We had the first look show this morning. It's popping off. We had a bunch of people win in DFS last week behind enemy lines. Won 5K, won the birdie challenge, first place, ripped off that GPP. We had some big winners at the Heritage the week before, and Pat has turned in his notice. He's considering quitting Tour Junkies, but now he's a baseball tout. You took down the $12 single entry first place baseball showdown contest yesterday, and you feel special now, don't you?
I mean, there's a part of me that wants to pat myself on the back for it. Now, did I just look at names and click them because it's a showdown? This is why I like showdowns, actually, because you don't have to pick all these different teams. There's only 2 teams.
Yeah.
And you just have to choose. And when I picked the names, I was kind of like, I looked at it and I said, this is, if anybody was advising somebody on one showdown lineup for single entry, they would think this is the stupidest damn lineup.
That's why I won. How much did you win by?
Actually, I won for a showdown. I thought it was a lot. It was like 5 or 6 points, which I think for a showdown is a lot.
Screenshot your lineup and text it to me real quick, and I'll bring it up on the show. We can take a look at it. I would be.
I've already screenshotted it
because we were talking about. Of course, you did. We were talking about it on the betting show. Like I can't name. I would not be able to name one baseball player per position. I'm pretty sure I could get I could get a pitcher. I could get an outfielder. No, I couldn't get a catcher. no, I couldn't commit to like who's a third baseman and who's not. There's just no freaking chance. I'm so out of touch. Dadgummit, Pat. What? It's sent as one of those special files. Hang on.
Why would it do that?
Hang on. I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
I've already sent this to somebody who laughed at the captain already.
Who laughed at the captain? All right, here we go. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. Ready and now. All right. Talk us through this quick lineup quickly here.
Okay.
Captain is Jock
Peterson, who played for the Braves. Obviously, I'm a big Braves fan, and he was an OG Dodger, actually. Played well for the Dodgers, but now plays for the Giants. And so I thought that was a little bit, I'm like, I'll go Peterson there. Stripling was a pitcher, and I actually wanted to kind of fade the pitchers, but I felt like I had to have one of the pitchers in there, so I went with the home pitcher with Stripling.
And
Estrada,
he sucks.
Yeah, Estrada was like, I don't even know who.
Eric Estrada?
I don't know who the hell he is. I was like, Estrada is where is he? Batting 6th. I thought the batting position looked okay. Boom, home run. McNeil. I think I've got a CPA friend whose last name is McNeil, and I was like,
I know a George McNeil used to play golf when I mean, that's how old we are. We've been doing this since 2015. George McNeil used to be a play every now and then.
Wade Jr. I was like, I'm a junior. I'm gonna, and he puts that in his name, so I'm gonna put this Alvarez guy. No clue who he was. He had a
Kenny Kim in a Mets hat.
Yeah, well, you have to have at least. I think you can't have like all of one team in a showdown. So I had to choose 2 Mets.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, the Giants were going to win the game, but I needed 2 Mets. And so I chose this McNeil fella and this Alvarez fella. And Alvarez had a home run. And boom, there I go. 64.80. I think I won by 4 or 5 points, which
That's
is a lot for a showdown.
Yeah.
And boom, $1,000.
I'm telling you, and a lot of the knowledge, some of that knowledge you probably picked up in the Nut Hut along the way, subconscious.
Oh, all of it. Even if I didn't really remember who the name was, inherently you pick up things, DB, in the Nut Hut. Like, like if you just happen to you run across something and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm going to click that name because somebody said something somewhere in the Nut Hut. That's what happened.
Yeah, I love it. Got to get in the Nut Hut, people. You got to do it. You got to do it. It's a great time. People are winning money on all kind of sports, not just golf. The golf content is great. We do a lot of stuff in there that's going to save you valuable time researching every single week. We do it for you. This week is packed full of stuff that's in there. Plus, you got all the extra live chats. We do 3 live chats a week with the Nut Hut between Monday and Wednesday. It's a great value. You get a great community. Check it out. Go to tourjunkies.com/nuthut. The link is in the description of the video. You can join us and all of our friends in the Nut Hut. It's a beautiful place. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about this DraftKings slate. Dude, I haven't seen when's the last time we saw a 12K price DraftKings guy? I mean, that was a regular thing when we first started in 2016. It's been a minute since I think we've seen a 12K guy. Which I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they didn't make it too soft for you to pay up for Jon Rahm. Like there's a penalty. I mean, not a penalty, but like it's tough. It's a weak field after Jon Rahm and Tony Finau and Wyndham Clark. It gets really weak. So the question is, how chalky is Jon Rahm going to be? Because he's going to be chalky. People are going to play him for sure, and I think you can definitely make a case to play him. You can make a case not to play him. His implied odds to win are around 25 to 30%, which means more times than not, he's not going to win. Priced at that point, like in DFS, he probably needs to finish no worse than 5th in DraftKings scoring, probably like 3rd in DraftKings scoring for you to like return value on that. But where do we think he's actually going to land? Like, is it? Like, I feel pretty confident that 30% is definitely. I think that's like the floor. Don't you think 30% is kind of the floor?
I think you're right. I think when I'm just thinking the top of my head, like the first couple of things that, as far as the ownership's concerned, I think it is 30 to 35%. Here's the thing though. I feel like it's almost like and I don't want to talk politics, but it's like a political affiliation. Like you have people that are all on one side or all on the other. And in this case, I want to be on the side that's against Jon Rahm. Like
Okay.
I don't want to play Jon Rahm. I get it. That could be stupid. I could be an idiot. But I want to like, and this is one of those events where I feel like I can do this. Like I could just say, I'm going to fade Jon Rahm. I'm going to be different somewhere else, which for me, it's actually just going to go dropping down to Finau, who's also going to be chalky. I get it. And then going from there. And I'll just have 0 Jon Rahm because you do have to, if you're going to fade Jon Rahm, you should have 0% in my mind. You don't have any of them. You just go completely the other direction.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that are going to be making that decision. They're either going to
go
take
extremely overweight or you go 0.
Yeah, that's the way I think you do it. And for me, it's just going to go. I'm going to go to 0% Jon Rahm.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, where the ownership, where the floor is going to be on him, because to go overweight on him, how much is that? And I mean, I think 30 is probably the floor. I think it could be as high as 50. I think it could be as high as 50 in some
Yeah,
contests.
I almost feel like you. Does it feel? Could you go just either 100% or do you go all in or none?
You
Do you
could. I
go
think you
100
could.
or 0?
I think you could. I think you could. I don't know if I don't. I'm not. I'm not that smart, but I think you could. I mean, so here's the other thing with John Ross. So he's won. I mean, the dude, God, he's won so much already. He's having an incredible season. We all know this. I mean, at the Heritage, the dude gained 8.8 strokes on approach at the Heritage the week after the Masters. Oh, and he gained almost 3 off the tee. The days after he won the Masters. So, like,
We talked
no
about this
letdown.
on our BSN on the Better Sports Network show last week too, where I almost felt like Jon Rahm, it was like a victory tour for him just playing in the Heritage.
Yeah.
And he still played pretty well, but he had a lot of things going on outside of just actually playing golf. And he still played really good golf.
He's incredible. I mean, the thing about too, like when you make a lineup with him, if you only play Rahm and you skip everyone else in the 9K range, you can. It's not terrible. Like I played around making a few lineups today. The 6K range is really gross. Like there's a couple of guys in there that I think are decent values, but it's very, very gross. I don't. I think a lot of my lineups will not have a single 6K player in them. Even if I end up playing Jon Rahm in some, I will go Rahm and then a bunch of, very capable 7K guys, so I don't know. You could see a lot of Jon Rahm lineups that don't make it, don't get 6 through the weekend. Some of them, man, I probably don't even get 5 through the weekend because of where you got to go when you put him in there. So I think you can totally make a case for fading him. But obviously, he's clearly the best player in the field by a mile. We talked about on the betting show. Rahm is the tier by himself. Finau is also in a tier by himself in this field, although it's rungs down. And then there's kind of a small group of others, and then everybody else. So, I mean, he is clearly the guy here.
Do you feel like if you're like the guy that's choosing Jon Rahm, and this is your DFS lineup, and this week, this is the only time you're playing DFS this week. Like if you're like so you're going in and like you're in
Why would this be the only time you've ever played DFS? The Mexico
just
Opens?
work with me here.
Just when you decide you want, you're like,
with me. I'm really just making a case where I think you should just fade him. So you got 2 bars in front of you. Okay, one is the dive bar. One is the dive bar in front of you, and then one you're walking down the street. You got a dive bar, and then you got freaking Applebee's or something.
I'd rather have a dive bar.
Beers of America or whatever that.
What? That's a place?
Yeah, it's like 100 Beers of America or whatever. World of Beer. World of Beer.
World of Beer. Is that what you were trying to think of? Seriously?
I don't know.
Beers of America?
I don't know.
Was that really the place, or is there a place called Beers of America?
It was World of Beer, but Beers of America popped in my head. I mean, do you want to go have fun in the dive bar? Or do you want to go to World of Beer?
Oh, yeah, I want to go to the dive bar.
And that's why I think you don't play Rahm. You go into the dive bar and see what happens this week.
I like that. I kind of like that. My wife and I went to Puerto Rico in the summer, and we stayed on the resort for most of the trip. But then the second to last night, we got out and we went down. We drove all the way down. It was like 30 minutes to San Juan,
Mhm.
and we got amongst it, like right there among the
Yeah, and
people.
you liked it. You got some
And
energy
we
from
went
that.
into so many dive bar, hole in the wall thing, and
Yeah,
it was so much freaking fun. So
yeah.
much fun. It was
Would
the
like,
best night we had, and we
would
were
you
like
have had fun at
mad. Yeah, we were mad that we didn't do that before.
would you have had fun if you went to World of Beer
No, or Beers of America.
or Beers of America, where John Rahm is sitting at the bar hanging out, asking, like, you some questions about stuff? Like, that's what you're doing if you're taking John
And
Rahm this
you
week.
know what? Screw fictitious Beers of America. I'm out too.
I
We'll
mean,
just we'll just fade John Rahm. We will pray that the fatigue. We'll pray that he was running on fumes in Harbor Town, running
mhm,
on pure adrenaline. He goes home, he kicks his feet up, probably hasn't touched a golf club. Not that he has to, but I'm
yeah.
justifying this for everybody. Probably hasn't touched a golf club. Only coming here because A, he's defending. B, it's a vacation. It's some sort of tropical place he can go. That doesn't mean that he cannot show up here with his B minus game and curb stomp everyone in this field to victory. But
Look, listen.
I mean, dude,
Beers of America can show up on any block in America, okay?
yeah.
They can kill it the first year. They can kill it. And dive bars over there are just like,
Oh no,
pissed off.
yeah,
But dive bars sticking around. Dive bars there.
yeah.
They've been there for a long
I'm
time.
in.
Beers of America goes out of business 2 years later.
Yeah,
All right? So that's what I'm saying.
I like it. I'm down. You sold me. I'm in.
Mhm.
I mean,
Okay.
hell, Brandon Wu almost ran him down here last year.
Yeah.
Lost by a shot. Could have ran him down. Anyway, all right. So that's John Rahm. So we're gonna talk about every player in the field, and let's now go to Tony. No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna do that.
No.
We both do like Tony Finau. I know that we talked about him on the betting show. We both like his play. The only thing Tony Finau is not doing is putting. That is the
No.
only thing. If you're looking at Tony Finau going, man, he just doesn't seem like he's the same. Something's off. He's not had the high finishes. I get it. He hasn't. But most of that has had to do with the putter. And, these past Palom greens, we're going to talk about this on a number of guys. These, flat, slow, not grainy past Palom greens can be tamed at any point by anyone in the field. Tony Finau, runner up here last year, he had 5 bogeys at this golf tournament last year. 5. Conditions this year, I think, are set up to be even easier. Even easier. Tony Finau could play this whole freaking tournament and not make a bogey. That bodes well because I think the winning score is going to have to be at 19, 20 under this year. I think they're going to score. I think they're going to go lower than they did last year. There is no wind at all projected. They're going to eat this place up, just eat it up like the dive bar appetizers.
No.
Um, so we like both of those guys, but if you let's say you don't play either one of them, you can certainly go the approach of more balanced looks. I mean, Wyndham Clark to me is the cash play in this range. He's going to be popular, I think, as well when people decide they want to do a lineup without Finau or John Rahm. They're probably going to go to Wyndham Clark. They're probably going to go to Højgaard and probably Patrick Rogers in this range, which is going to mean that your low-owned options are going to be Noren, Pendrith, McNeely, Woodland. Those are going to be your low options. Now, we both think Taylor Pendrith is broken and busted and he should not be here, so I'm not playing him no matter his price. I'm also really pissed off at Alex Noren, so I'm probably emotionally going to fade him. That's an emotional fade
Mm.
for me.
Okay. It's
Woodland is
never good to do anything emotionally in
well,
golf.
I'm doing it. Woodland is a easy fade for me because I think his upside sucks. So the guy's a fraud. So I'm out on Woodland. The only one I could see getting talked into and tempted by is Maverick McNeely. We shall see. Anybody else here?
Well, I mean, I feel like why are you glossing over Ben on?
Oh, I totally forgot I skipped over Ben On. I like Ben On. I think we both like Ben On.
Yeah, we're big fans. I like Ben On a lot.
Yeah.
9,100. I think he's a good play.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Wyndham Clark to me is a cash play. He's a GPP play. I like him in both formats. So I think you definitely play him there. He's just been so solid all year long. He's really not, from week to week, course to course. It hasn't really mattered a ton with him. He's just been fantastic, and he's a great putter. So I do like Wyndham Clark this week. I don't know if I'm as anti Woodland as you are, and I feel like this is like, what are the people that they have an issue with? Like they like to like inflict pain upon themselves. What's that
Um,
called? Isn't there a name for? I should know this
like
because
the damn, what is that word, huh? We're not a
I,
very smart pot. Sadistic? No.
I don't know.
Masochist?
There's a part of me that wants to inflict pain upon myself with Gary Woodland. We talked about this on the last show. Like, what would you do to get a master's badge? And I said I would sever my body
Oh, damn.
with
Hold on.
something.
Sorry, not masochist. My bad.
I don't know if you wanted to use that word.
Oh, wait a minute. A person who enjoys an activity that appears to be painful or tedious. Yeah. Also, a person who derives sexual gratification from their own pain or
Okay,
humiliation.
well, let's get out. Wait, let's calm down.
Are
We
you
did
saying
not. None of us said this. None of us said this. I never said that.
I'm giving you the definition of what you asked for?
Okay, but I didn't say that. I'm just saying, like, there's a part of me that wants to play Gary Woodland,
Oh, you
and
wanna
I don't know
kinda
why.
put the leather on, pull out the whips and chains and all
Okay,
that
no,
stuff, kinda get
nobody ever went in that
you and
direction.
Gary, huh?
Nobody ever went in that direction. I'm just saying, you look at him on a course like this. He's number 2 in the field off the tee. He checks a ton of boxes here. Top 3 in ball striking. Top 3, as if there's like, I should just say third in ball striking. Top 3. Fifth in approach. DB. 22nd opportunities game. Gary Woodland is there for the taking.
Yeah, and he's also there to give you a T28.
Okay.
That's just what he's gonna do. That's what he's gonna do.
He's been playing well recently, though. Anyway, I think though he does concern me. But if he gets some low ownership, like you said, if he's one of the guys that people like just want to skip over, I'm okay with. Like he's
Yeah.
sitting in the corner of the dive bar, just throwing darts.
Let me ask you this.
He's playing darts or something.
How chalky does Wyndham Clark have to be for you to avoid him?
I think if he's anywhere over 20%, I'd
Mm.
probably maybe avoid him. But I think under 20 in GPPs, I don't care about cash. But
I
in
could see
GP,
him I could see him getting there.
yeah, 20% is kind of the number for me.
I could see him getting there.
But you know what? You have to get comfortable with a little bit of that here.
Dude, we can't play $9,700 20% plus on Wyndham Clark. I don't care. We can't do that. We
No,
can't.
I think you got to get comfortable with
No,
that.
no. If that's what you have to do, then you go balls out John Rahm, overwhelmingly John Rahm.
Mm.
Pair him with Finau for all I care. Pair him with Byung Hun An and stack up, and then 6K guys. I would rather do that than a 20+% $9,700 Wyndham Clark in this field. I don't care. I've already bet him. I talked about him this morning.
Okay, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But let's also reset here and say that, you know what? There are some players in this field. There's a lot of players in this field that you're going to have to get comfortable with in DFS playing at higher ownership than you would ever see them at. I believe.
But it's also a combination of the price. In this field, he takes up so much of my salary in a crappy field to get him at 20%. It's just scary. Real scary.
Yeah, but then you start to get into the scaries of the 7K range. That every single name you can click gives you a scary.
Yeah.
That makes you shake.
I just 25% plus like that is starting to get real uncomfortable for Wyndham Clark to me. Real uncomfortable. As good as he's playing.
All right, let's get out of this range.
All right, let's do it. Let's move on to the 8K range, shall we? Before we do that, there's a chance for you to win this Masters hat and this Masters koozie. Look at this Masters 2023 hat and koozie, and super easy. It's an easy contest. All you got to do is this: download the Pickett app. Okay, download the Pickett app, and I said this in the betting show. I'm going to piss people off with this. This is only for people who have not yet downloaded it. So if you've already downloaded it, congratulations. You're not entered in this contest.
Good for you.
You can gripe, you can piss, you can moan. You can tell me I'm a bad guy. I don't care. We run plenty of contests. This is a simple little hat. And
DB hates RE downloaders.
So all you have to do is if you've been on the edge of downloading the Pickett app, you've been looking for one little reason to do it. A reason would be you might be one of just a handful of people eligible for me to ship you this hat and koozie from the Masters this year. Tag still on it. All you got to do is click in the link in the description of the podcast or YouTube video. Download the Pickett app. It is actually it's free, and you can get it on iOS and Android. And they pay you to download it. Everyone is going to get at least $3, and one person a day wins $100 when you download the Pickett app and you use referral code TJ when you do. Just link up one of your sports books or your DFS sites like Prize Picks, Underdog, Sleeper, Prize Parlay, Play, whatever, Jock Market. There's all kind of stuff on there, DFS sites. If you're not in a legal sports betting state, it's super, super easy and it's fun. And you can track some bets, track your own bets. You can tail people. If you want to bet John Rahm and you want to parlay him with somebody that knows what they're doing with baseball, like Pat, then you can see their picks on Pickett. And you can say, dang, this guy wins a lot of money, or this girl wins a lot of money on baseball bets. I'm going to tail them. Parlay it with John Rahm. Boom. Now John Rahm's 11-1, and you're a happy camper. So download the Pickett app, check it out. And we appreciate them for sponsoring the 8K range, Pat, which is going to be a rather forgotten spot. I think, I say this, somewhat regularly, but when we have kind of this clear Rahm Scheffler tier in one of these weak field events, I feel like the 8K range is often the spot highly, highly under leveraged, under owned, overlooked, because it just doesn't seem to fit. I mean, even if you just put John Rahm in your lineup and you don't put another 9K guy in your lineup, it still is kind of tough to get at least to the middle upper part of this 8K range with the options that you're left with in the salary cap space available. So for that reason, I think a lot of these guys are going to get talked about, but I don't know that their ownership is going to, I don't know if there's going to be all that much chalk in here. I'm thinking that some of that chalk could be maybe, I feel like Aaron Rye is just a guy in the DFS streets a lot of people like. I feel like Alex Smalley could get some love. The Brandon Wu could get some love. I don't know. Who do you think is going to be kind of the more popular looks here?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking at a couple guys in here that could get some definite looks is certainly Aaron Rye. But here's the thing about Aaron Rye. Like, he just can't put 4 rounds together. Like, if you're not paying attention to all 4 rounds of golf, which it's 72 holes if you make the cut, he's not really like he's like a first round leader guy. Like, if you want to bet a first round leader, I get it with Aaron Rye. But, had a first round lead. Was it at the Heritage?
I don't know.
T48 was where he finished, by the way. And then he had a first round lead earlier in the year at, I believe it was Pebble Beach.
Oh, yeah,
and
you hit him a couple times.
Yeah. So, I mean, but he can't put 4 together. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence. And I would rather fade a guy like that, who I just don't think, a high owned Aaron Rye at 8,900. I'm not really playing. I think you fade him. But then you got guys that have consistently shown up here in the top 10, like a Ben Martin at 8,600, who I don't think is still going to have a ton of ownership. So I like him at 8,600. You could feel differently there, but I do think that he could be, middle of the road. So I think, Steven Yeager is another one. He's 8,200. You look at the odds though, and they actually say like Steven Yeager is well thought of. He's like, I've seen him as low as 35-1, but he's missed a cut. He missed a cut at the Heritage. He had a T27 at the Valspar. He was T44 at the Players.
Yeah, I mean, 35-1 puts him in the Højgaard, McNeely, Rogers range.
Yeah, and that part of when you look at that, that interests me in him.
Yeah,
Like I
I agree.
know that he's
And he's
not
not a
like
super sexy name, so, like, people will talk about him, but at the end of the day, nobody really loves clicking his name and put him in their lineup.
no, they don't. But he's won. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy like
He's won on the
literally
Korn Ferry Tour a
won
lot.
on the Corn Ferry Tour like 3 times, got the Battlefield promotion where he went immediately from the Corn Ferry Tour up to the PGA Tour, I think. Pretty
Could be
sure that
wrong.
happened.
Could
Could
be
be
wrong,
wrong.
could be right.
That happens in golf. Could be wrong, could be right. But I think Steve who?
You okay?
Good lord. Did I just have a seizure? Um,
Stay,
anyway.
stay.
Jaeger.
Jeez.
Good
Have a
lord.
have a
Anyway,
sip from that dive bar beer you got.
go ahead. Anyway, I like Jaeger though in DFS for sure.
I also like Jaeger.
Have a shot of Jaeger.
I'm a little more bullish on Aaron Rye, but I could definitely, if he's any kind of chalk, I'm out. Ben Martin, I like. I like Ben Martin. I'm a little concerned about the distance. I want distance here. So I'm a little concerned about that. Smalley is interesting to me. Smalley played well here last year. Good iron player, ball striker. Hadn't had the great finishes. I think I'm out on B Woo. I'm definitely out on Andrew Putnam. I think Andrew Putnam, just a short hitter that makes a lot of his money due to incredible around the green play. I think he's a totally stupid play here, even if he's low owned. Not a good course fit whatsoever.
Do we just skip over Grillo?
Yeah,
Like, I feel like he's the guy that like we have not talked on the betting show.
I know. I'm
We
kind of
have
skipping
not
over
we
that.
have not
Why do
talked
I
about
want? I don't care. I don't want Grillo. I'm not
even off,
buying.
coming off of his top 10 finish at the
Yeah,
Heritage.
yeah, where he gained 6 strokes around the green. Congratulations. Like, that's amazing for him. That you know how many times that's happened? Never. That was his highest around the green performance of his PGA Tour career. Sure, he had a decent iron week, which he has spike iron weeks, but I mean, he's not. I'm not buying the Grillo hype, and the price to me. I think Jaeger. I think Smalley. I think freaking Robbie Shelton. I'd rather have over Emiliano Grillo. Matt Wallace, I like.
Grillo is so shitty around the greens. It pisses me off.
He
I
wasn't
watched him at the Players Championship,
the
like,
Heritage is easy to chip around. Yeah.
and his chipping is so bad.
You don't
So,
you don't want to play Matt Wallace? Just one Corrales, Paspalum, Coastal kind of.
does off the tee kind of bother you a little bit with him?
No, because I think he loses a lot of those strokes off the tee because of his towards. His towards is broken.
Hmm.
Which out here you've got that wide open fairway, man. Just let it rip, dude. Let it rip. He hits it far enough. He's got like 150.
Well, I don't mind Matt Wallace in general. I mean, he's been playing well. I hear you there.
I think my favorites are Jaeger, Shelton, probably Smalley. And I did a big old rant on Bo Hostler on the betting show, so I won't get into that.
See, for me, I would say that my favorites would be Ben Martin. I like Smalley. I believe in Brandon Wu. I believe in Brandon Wu. But I also think Jaeger makes some sense.
I think Jaeger's my cash play here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the 8K range. Let's talk about the large 7K range, Pat. We got a nice large 7K range. Before we do that, got to remind you about our friends at Sobet. Listen, this is crazy. Like on Twitter, anybody could get on there and say, "Hey, I'm a sports handicapper. I'm good. Check me out." Sobet, they actually the feed that you're looking at is all their pros that they curate, that they vet, that they make sure know what they're doing before they give them access to their platform. It's not a bunch of schmucks up there running around posting whatever. They've brought us on as their first ever golf handicappers, but they got every sport covered by a bunch of sharp people, a lot of great content, and you can trust that when you are looking at somebody posting plays that they actually have been vetted and they know what they're doing. So if you're betting and you want to tail it, this is a brilliant thing. I don't see anyone else doing what Sobet is doing. And for only $9.95 a month, you can check them out. Use code TJ. Get all access to those pros, over 30 plus pros, exclusive content. We are doing content on Sobet. I'm putting out an exclusive bet on Sobet every single week. The other thing that they do that I love is they make everyone track the bets. They make them post units to the bet. They make them recap the weeks and the days, whether they win or lose. So there's full transparency on the platform. That's something that's hard to find these days. Sobet's doing it right. Really cool company. Check it out. Link in the description below. Sign up using promo code TJ. Give it a trial run. See what you think. You can, if it's not for you, you can get out. It's no big deal. But it's $9.95 a month to give you unlimited access. Just check it out. There's thousands of people cashing tickets, just blindly tailing bets like I did yesterday. I blindly tailed my boy Gutsy's 3 baseball bets. I don't even watch baseball. I just said I couldn't name a single, like half the positions on the field. I couldn't name one player. And I just blindly tailed him and won all 3 of them. So Sobet's doing it right. Check it out. 7K range. Pat. Let's see. Let me get to my 7K range here. Okay. I mean, this is pretty skinny, bro. It's pretty skinny. I do like Lee Hodges and Will Gordon up top. I like both. I like Gordon. Talk about not being able to put 4 rounds together. Gordon can't put 4 rounds together, but who knows? It could make it happen here. Honestly, the top 4. I like Bramlett. Bramlett missed the cut here on the number last year. I think he could have done well here. He's playing really nice right now. And we talked about Luke List on the betting show. DFS maybe scares me. Like I might actually prefer to bet Luke List at 90-1 right now and just hold my nose and put in the quarter unit and be done with it. But DFS, maybe I'm a little more nervous. But I do think List, this is about as good a spot, considering how poorly Luke List is playing right now. This is about as good a spot he could roll up to. I'm trying to think. The only way this could be better for Luke is if like the wind really picked up and it became more difficult. But like wide fairways, bombs away, tons of long irons over 200 yards, 225 yards, easy greens. Like that's about the best case scenario for Luke.
Yeah, I agree. Luke is, I mean, and if you think about it too, like, despite how inconsistent he can be from week in and week out, and you are like you're the Luke whisperer. Whenever you talk about him, he tends to win every week. Every week you talk about him,
not every.
So
week.
You have a very good record. If you talk about him every week, you can't lose.
That's true.
But I do like him. I think he's a good play. So I think I'm with you there. I'm with you on Lee Hodges. I'm with you on Will Gordon. I think a couple others here that I'm interested in. Eric Cole is one. You know, Eric Cole has been a guy we've seen up on leaderboards. We saw him at the Honda Classic. He's 7,500. I like him. I really love Austin Eckroat down at the bottom here.
Wow.
It's 7,000. He finished 5th here last year. Great off the tee. Has those numbers for you. Kind of very consistent across the board. So I like Austin Eckroat. Another guy that I find a little bit interesting here is Andrew Novak. He's at 7,300. I think he's one that just really kind of pops for me, especially par 5 scoring. Remember, you got 4 par 5s this week. Now, a couple of them are pretty long, but still, with the wide open fairways and everything else, they're going to be bombing it on every hole. So I think that's important to look at. I'm a Woo fan. DB. I do like Brandon Woo, who's going to be in the 8K range, but I like Dylan Woo almost more. And we talked about this on the betting show, and you swayed me in this direction. I think Dylan Woo could be better than Brandon Woo.
Yeah.
Now look,
I think
as far as I know, there is no relation between the two. Okay, let's just go ahead and get that out. Not that it matters. I'm just saying. But I mean, some people might think that they're related, and so they might, one of them's something like one of them's birthday is this week, and like because they're related. I don't know. That doesn't really mean anything. Anyway, I think Dylan Woo is the way to go over Brandon. DB.
I agree. I'm more of a Dylan Wu guy. I'm not buying the Brandon Wu at the price. I'm with you.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna roll with him from 71, the 7,100 and 7K range, I like no one in that range. This is why the Rahm, like the
Wait, say that again. From what range?
I don't like anyone at 7,100 or 7K. No one.
You don't even like Austin Eckert.
No,
You don't even like Matty Schmidt.
no, not enough.
Jimmy Walker isn't calling your name.
No,
Okay.
no. Let me tell you somebody along the Jimmy Walker lines who I'm tempted by. Is anyone paying attention to how good Charlie Hoffman's started to hit his irons again?
He had a hole in one, by the way, at Zurich.
Of course, everyone has seen the hole in one. Also, I don't know if I don't know this for a fact, but I mean Charlie's hitting it. He's hitting it long right now. Like he's hitting it long. He's gaining strokes, driving distance, a good bit. He's got plenty of pop. The putter is terrible. Putter's worst has been in his career. But I mean, it's past Palom. Whatever. I don't know. Charlie Hoffman's interesting to me. I feel like there's just some ball striking upside there. EVR a little bit at 72. I love Novak. I'm with you on Novak. Harry Hall is a guy that was getting a little bit of chatter in the first look show today. The thing I don't love about Harry Hall is a lot of his strokes gained are all short game, and I just don't think
Yeah.
that's as important here. I don't love that. Akshay is going to be popular, I think, in the larger DFS fanboy contest because everybody loves Akshay, and I could take him or leave him in DFS. I think I talked about betting him at 130 to 1. That's a little different. You know, he's obviously got the skill set here. He can go super low, which you're going to have to do. He hits it a long way. He is tempting, but I will not be afraid to fade Akshay if the ownership gets out of control. Lonto and Dylan Wu right there at 75, I would probably prefer over your boy Eric Cole. I don't hate the Eric Cole play. I think I prefer Lonto and D. Wu. A lot of people jazzed up about David Lipsky and his finish last year. He was, I think he finished top 10 here last year or something. I think it was kind of an anomaly finish. Like he doesn't check a lot of boxes for this place as a whole. And I think he was the only guy in the top 10 that averaged under 300 yards off the tee for the week last year. So I think I'm probably out on him. Kazire's a little interesting, but scares the hell out of me. You know who I hate? Why do people like Nate Lashley so much?
I mean, maybe he's a good guy. I don't know, but I
Yeah,
don't.
I'm not talking about him personally.
There's something about him that I don't like.
I don't understand it. Like all the people in the chat and the Discord today, Nate Lashley, Nate Lashley.
Well, because he is a very good ball striker. He's very good on approach.
Is he? What?
Typically, he is. Yes.
I mean, he's okay. I mean, yeah, I see some green, but there's not a lot of. I mean, there's very little dark green on Fantasy National. I mean, it's like okay-ish.
I mean, he's 12th in the field over the last 24 rounds in approach, and I bet if he went longer than that, he's probably better in the field.
Yeah,
he is a good iron player.
He hits it nowhere.
But the problem is that there's a Nate Lashley course out there, and this one isn't it.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Yeah, everybody's going to see like the Puerto Rico finish and be like, "Oh, look, they see Puerto Rico past Palom," and then they're going to see the other Puerto Rico finish last year when he finished 7th, and saying, Puerto Rico is not this place. Corrales Punta Cana is not 7,400 yards and a ton of 220-yard approach shots. I don't know, and I do think the course could firm up a little bit this year. Maybe it. I don't know. I still don't love it. I mean, it means he's hitting probably lower lofted irons into these greens. I don't love it. I just don't understand the Nate Lashley love at all. I never have.
I'm with you there, 100%.
Especially at the price, man. I don't like who. No. All right, let's move on. I do want to do this. Let me pull this up. So before we get to the 6K draft, let's look at. I want to show you what I'm doing on. I'm going to share my screen here, Pat. We're going to do something weird here. Going to get different. All right, Underdog. Our friends at Underdog have started dropping odds sooner, which is nice. Very, very nice. Started dropping their their daily plays. So for round one, plays are up and available, and I'll show you the 3 that I like the most, and you tell me what you think. I like the lower than a bogey and a half for Tony Finau. And I know that may be like, oh, that's only 2 bogeys. What? Tony Finau last year at this event in tougher conditions because there were more windy days and stuff. Tony Finau last year had 2 rounds where he had one bogey. His final round on Sunday, he had 0 bogeys, and then he had 1 round where he had 3. So 3 of the 4 rounds, he had 1 or 0 bogeys. He had 5 total for the week. He's still hitting it amazing. I like the lower on Tony Finau. There is 0 win projected for Thursday. So 1 bogey or 1 bogey gets us home there with old
Can
Tony.
you imagine if that was your own game?
Oh God, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. No chance. I like Wyndham Clark and I like P. Raj lower than 68 on the strokes. Par
Yeah,
71,
like this.
3 under pushes at least, which we don't want both of them to push, but 3 under pushes. But they could get to 4 under. Again, easy scoring day. Patrick Rogers played great here last year, had a couple low rounds below the 68 number. Wyndham Clark, obviously, we've talked about him ad nauseum. I would probably do an insurance payout here. So if you hit 2 out of the 3, you just get it back. If you hit all 3, you 3x yo cash. So if you bet $100 on the insured payout and you hit all 3, you win 300. If you hit 2 out of 3, you just get the 100 back and you lose nothing. So I like that with Underdog. I don't think they have the rivals up yet. No, they don't. All right. So anyway, that's our Underdog play, or my early lean here for the Underdog plays. So check that out. Yep, Pat's got the T-shirt on. Look at there. Link in the description if you don't have an Underdog account. Here are the states where they're eligible if you're watching on YouTube. You have the pick'em side and you have the draft side. The best ball drafts are available as well. We didn't go over that tonight, but that's a lot of fun. Those have reopened up for the major championships, the remaining 3. So you can get in there and draft right now for the remaining 3 majors. It's a lot of fun. Do that. It's a good time. All right, 6K draft, and we are out, Pat. Let's get to it.
Okay.
I'm going to start. 6K draft is tough, dude. Tough. I am going to go with. I can't believe I'm doing this. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about this guy in a year, but I mean, I think I'm going to go with Cameron Percy.
We're gonna laugh at everybody in this range, but I don't mind it really.
I think I'm going to go with Cameron Percy, who has known to be a solid iron player, gained some strokes off the tee. He's a little shorter, but whatever. And he's finally kind of figured out the putter a little bit. Like his whole thing has always been the putting. This season, he's turned up with the putter. Like he's turned up. And he's had some decent finishes. 16th at the Valspar, Copperhead. Are you kidding me? 12th at the Honda, 8th at the Wyndham last August. Top 25 at Fortinet. I don't know. I think Percy's got potential at 6,900.
Okay. I am going to go to Mr. I'm not Cameron. I am Carson Young at 6,600 because every time I see C Young up there, I want up there in an event where Cameron Young is in the event, Carson Young is up there, and he's actually been playing well. I mean, you look at, his stats aren't really going to wow you if you're a stats guy and you're only going off your models. But he's got some good finishes, including a T20, top 20 finish last week, T19 at the Heritage. He was T38 at Corrales. I think he's had some other good finishes this year as well. So Carson Young at 6,600, I think, is a good play.
Okay. I like it. Man, I'm debating between. Look up this guy real quick. All right, I think I'm gonna go Tano Goya. Tano, absolute bomber. Good dude too. He's been making cuts. He's only missed, let's see, in 2023, he's played in 9 events. He's only missed 2 cuts. the upside hasn't really been there. His best finish was an 11th at Puerto Rico, a 26th at the Amex. But out of those events in 2023, Tano's doing his thing, which you love to see. 6,700 Tano Goya for me.
All right. I will go up to 6,900. Our boy Austin Smotherman is
Oh, you
right
going
there.
Smoth Daddy?
Going Smoth Daddy. I know he's not like the longest guy on the tour, but
He's not short.
He's not short. He's a solid player. He's made 3 of his last 4 cuts, with a 36th at the Valspar, 35th at the Players. T67 last week, missed a cut at Valero. I like Austin Smotherman here, 6,900. So.
I don't know what happened to him at the Heritage. He had a really bad iron week or 2 days because he missed the cut. But typically, like
No, he
last
made
year,
the cut at the Heritage.
oh yeah, he did. He finished DFL. Sorry,
Yeah,
or almost.
but he did make the cut.
Yeah, you're right. He did. But I know last year when he was doing his thing, like his mid and long iron game was very, very good. Like
Yeah.
he's better with mid and long irons in his hand than he is a wedge contest for sure. With my last pick, I am going to do it, Pat. I'm going to pull out a weird one. Okay, sponsors exemption. He is. Let's see. Make sure I get this right. I want to see if I can. Yeah. Where's he? Hold on. Hold. He is okay. Yeah. Now the one knock against him, he played at University of Florida, which we don't like. But he hails from Argentina. He's on the sponsors exemption. He is very cheap for this field. Very cheap. It is $6,500. Alejandro Tosti. Mortal Kombat reference. Alejandro Tosti is he's a guy on the Korn Ferry Tour making waves right now. Currently 27th in the Korn Ferry Tour points list, 444th in the world golf ranking, but doing his thing on the Korn Ferry Tour, coming off a T22 finish at the Lakecom this past week, a T10 and a T7 before that on the Korn Ferry Tour, a T22 at the Bahamas event, the second Bahamas event on the Korn Ferry Tour this season. He's got a T6 and a T5 in Argentina on the, what tour is that? Latin America Tour. That's all in 2022 or the fall season of 2022 and 2023. Guy can go low. I like him. So I'm going to go with Toasty at 6,500. I believe in the sponsor's magic.
All right. Well, this range is really testing us, DV.
Yeah, this really is a toasty range. Testy range.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going to go with a guy that I don't know if I've ever uttered his name on our podcast, but, he had a top 10 finish, DB, back at the, where is he? I lost him. Top 10 finish at Corrales. Has played definitely a few events on tour. So Brent Grant.
Ooh.
Brent Grant is 6,800. He bombs it. He is third in the field in strokes gained off the tee, 22nd in par 5 scoring. You got 4 par 5s this week, 10th in birdie or better percentage. Everything else is a little bit not that great.
A little bit
He is 38th in par 3 scoring, which you do have 5 par 3s, which is a little unusual about this golf course. 2 longer ones over 200 yards. But anyway, Brent Grant, 6,800. That will be my last one.
Love it. So the 6K draft goes Cameron Percy, Carson Young, Tano Goya, Austin Smoth Daddy Smotherman, Alejandro Tosti, and Brent Grant. Yikes. That is a hideous 6K draft if I've ever seen one. I don't know that we've had a worse one. And we've had plenty of non-elevated events.
Yeah, but,
this is bad.
It's a bad field. That's what happens.
But money to be made, and we shall make it. We hope you make it too. We will see you in the chats. Don't forget to check out the Tour Junkies blog. All the new writers getting it going this week. Probably a lot of the articles are already up right now, so go check that out. And then again, I'll be at Quail Hollow for the Wells Fargo next week. A lot of good content coming out of there into the Nut Hut. Let's see you in there, and let's see those green screens this week in the DFS streets. We hadn't said this in a while, Pat. Let's get a little green screen disease. You know what I mean?
Let's do that.
Let's get a little bit of that disease in you, the green screen disease, like Pat had for Major League Baseball Showdown on Sunday. All right, and everybody say goodbye to Pat. This is his last show. He's gonna
Yeah.
start his own baseball show. All right,
See ya.
may your screens be green. See ya. Out.